If you're heading north on I-5 tonight, you're going to need these guys to get past these guys. Flames are popping up in every direction. They're actually telling us to hurry up, get this live shot in, and then get out of here.
Right now, Julia, what are you seeing out there tonight?
Dylan, the sergeant actually just told me that he can confirm now this was a fatal here tonight. I'll get out of the way and show you what I'm seeing right here on 273 Democratic and Libertarian. Now, the reason we're not seeing Republican as an option on this card is because this part of I-5 near Cypress Avenue is one of the busiest stretches of highways in our area. So when her SUV finally came to a stop, she was face to face with lunchtime traffic. And I know a lot of people are wondering about those old historic buildings in Old Shasta. Are you able to give us any updates? Shoot, I'm ready. I've got the hat on. Here we go.
With my hands, head, and feet covered, I jumped in.
And Mike, I have to point out, this guy is for sale, but maybe we'll take that up with Mrs. Mangus. Here, my ponytail is freezing.
It's a complete cutoff to the world because in several places, there is no cell phone service.
Breaking news tonight, we are learning more about a shooting at the California Garlic Festival in Gilroy. In the latest update, a city councilman says 3 people have been killed and 12 others are wounded. Right now, it is holding at 20 acres and 0% containment.
It doesn't have a dome, even though it's 15 below right now.
Because they love that tradition. You can only watch football like this.
Into punishing them.
Mike, this story is really dear to my heart. It's been about a year now since I was out here reporting to you guys on the fire lines of the Carr fire. I will never forget that night. I remember thinking, I can't fathom what the future holds for our community. But today, I am standing in front of one of the many homes that has rebuilt. I just spoke to the people inside. They have moved back in. It's truly a sign of new life in our community. And today, I met 12 other signs of new life, and we're calling them the Carr Fire babies.
Smile.
12 bouncing babies born into the Redding Fire Department family in the past year. 12 babies and 9 moms. That's right, do the math. 3 sets of twins.
After the Carr fire, after we all went through something really emotional, we all kind of got together and we were telling each other what was happening, and we all kind of figured out that we were pregnant together.
They call it one big family.
It's a big team effort and very family oriented, and I think that's one of the reasons why we love this job and being able to help each other out, family, friends.
But the night the Carr fire barreled into Redding, they grew even closer.
We actually communicated day and night, 24/7. It was a hard time for sure, especially being pregnant and trying to evacuate. Everyone, trying to get together and help each other.
Their husbands out on the fire lines, 6 of the women pregnant at the time.
That night my husband was working and, he told me he loved me through text. A lot of us actually got that text that we love you very much.
Fearing the worst.
You don't want to be alone raising babies, but again, like I said, we have a good support group here, so it's amazing, the women and the family, how we're bonded together.
Today, nearly 1 year later, a sign of new life and growth in the form of tiny fingers and toes. Hope for the future for the Redding Fire family.
We're going to have a lot of play dates and a lot of little kids and probably tantrums and times together, yes.
And while visiting with the moms today, they mentioned that they always keep Jeremy Stoke and Chief Gray in their thoughts. They said both of them love children, and to see the Redding Fire family grow like this, they would have huge smiles on their faces. Reporting live in Redding, Julia Avery, KRCR News Channel 7, the North States News.
Julia Avery is live at National Night Out with more. Julia.
You guys, people in Redding are getting increasingly better at looking out for each other, and that's exactly what tonight is all about. But how do you get to look out for your neighbors if you don't know them? So people are coming outside in order to come together against crime. But they're not just physically coming together like they are tonight, they're also coming together on the internet in a virtual lost and found, or in this case, stolen and found.
It's the neighborhood watch group of the 21st century.
It's people keeping eyes out for each other and each other's things and keeping an eye out for the shady activity.
Redding Crime 2.0. It's a Facebook page where people post things that have been stolen or found.
Like this girl here, her car was stolen a couple days ago.
And it reaches 33,000 people. That's a third of Redding.
and beyond. People pick up the posts, they share them to the various crime groups, sales groups. You'd be amazed the reach that this group has.
Mia M. posted about her stolen car back in May.
I'm not joking when I say I believe probably half the county had their eyes out. Even months later, people are seeing purple Hondas and messaging me, "Is this your car?" And oh, I gotta stop. It's gonna make me cry.
But RPD Sergeant Todd Kogel says if found through Facebook, call the police first. And he points out response times for things like this are getting better.
And typically, if a stolen vehicle's been sighted or spotted, our officers are usually pretty quick to respond to that.
Using social media for the good.
Yeah, they're taking ownership of some of the issues that are going on here in Reading, and they're trying to address it themselves. They realize that law enforcement can't be everywhere all the time, and they're trying to help each other out, which is, what a community is supposed to do, take care of each other.
And I've found that people in Reading really do take care of each other, but the first step to that is meeting each other. So come on down to Methodist Church. There are several of these national nights going on throughout the city, but this one is in the back parking lot of the Methodist Church in downtown Reading. Now, coming up at 6:30, I spoke again with Todd Kogel about what to do if you do find your car through a Facebook page. He says, don't get in it. That's tonight at 6:30. Reporting live in Reading, Julia Avery, KRCR News Channel 7.
They did postpone the earlier one that was set at Kohl's because they just didn't have the resources, among other things. Did they, in fact, have the resources?
That was a discussion before all of this happened. They were on the roof of the courthouse as well as the Reading City Hall, watching down on all of the protests. And when it came to a head tonight, police, the first time I saw them on the ground, walked and stood in a line, and that's when we didn't know if there would be a clash, and it ended up being a peaceful clash where they all joined together and walked together.
All right, Julia, we're so happy that it did end that way tonight. And I did want to ask you one other question, if I can. I wanted to ask, we've heard a lot of rumors circulating that people were coming from places outside of Reading for these protests today. Were you able to verify whether or not that was true?
Tamara, there were, as you were saying, hundreds of protesters out here. I asked a handful, maybe 25 people, where are you and your friends from? I got Reading from all of them. Most of them said, I grew up here in Reading. Now, that does not confirm that everyone was from Reading, but the fear of having people come from out of town was that it would create violence, and that is not what we saw here. So whether they came from out of town or whether they were from here, those rumors of violence did not turn out to be true.